Up close and personal with African lions, on the seas in search of killer whales in Taiwan, and me wine tasting in the English countryside. All in a day's work here on The Travel Show.
Oh, that's very nice. Hello and welcome to The Travel Show with me, Krista Larwood, here on the beautiful Italian island of Sicily. This week we're going to take a look back at some of our favourite stories from the past couple of months. Stick around, you might see some of your favourites too. Coming up.
This seaside resort on the Costa Blanca grew from a sleepy fishing village with just 3,000 inhabitants back in the 1960s.
It's so exciting to be surrounded by a family of killer whales, but they're really difficult to film.
Here I am, Meru National Park. Now, this place is amazing for many reasons, but right up there has to be its most famous four-legged daughter, and that's Elsa the lion.
Now, this first part of the programme has a distinctly European feel. Back in the summer, temperatures rose to a scorching mid-30s throughout southern England. And it's this increasingly warm weather that's helping to build the reputation of English wine. Now, not too long ago, you might have been laughed out of a restaurant if you'd ordered a bottle of English wine to go with your dinner. But that's all changed now, as I discovered back in July. Wine has been grown in England since the Roman times, but it's never really gained a reputation for being of very high quality until recently.
The industry is experiencing a boom. More bottles of English wine are being produced than ever before. The amount of land in the UK devoted to vineyards has doubled in the past 7 years, and the awards are rolling in.
So English wine is having a bit of a moment.
It is. We're riding on a crest of a wave at the moment.
Chris White oversees the family-owned Denby's wine estate in the southeastern county of Surrey. It's the UK's largest single vineyard, and vines have been grown here since 1986. Chris has seen the transition of English wine's reputation from a product high on price and low on taste to a seriously sought-after tipple.
It has been very much an interesting path, shall we say, but now we've been honest with what we can grow well here now, and the fact that we've been able to reduce the prices because we've got the economies of scale that we didn't used to have, it's made a massive difference.
Much of the recent success has come courtesy of one variety in particular, English sparkling. It makes up around 2/3 of all English wine production, and it's fast becoming recognised as world-class among connoisseurs. But there's a reason why the sparkling wine produced in the southeast of England is being compared with the French classic. It turns out there's a secret weapon under our feet.
We were joined millions of years ago to the Champagne region of France, so we have exactly the same soil like we've got down here, which is perfect for vine production.
So what's distinctive about this soil?
Well, this is chalk, and it's fantastic for us because it's a fractured rock and it's a porous rock as well, so the vines can still suck up the moisture they need.
So this is basically a little bit of champagne in the middle of England.
Absolutely, yeah.
I can't imagine they're happy about that.
The rise in English fine wines has taken some in the global industry by surprise, but all indications suggest England will continue to achieve awards and prestige into the future. Whether the tourism industry will grow with it and take on the world's best-known wine hubs remains to be seen, but for now that's an ambition that many in this region expect one day will bear fruit.
That was me sampling some very tasty English wine back in July. Another European country with a long history of wine production is Spain. It's also considered by many to be the birthplace of the modern package holiday. Now, its high-rise coastal resorts are not exactly a thing of beauty, but one of them is considering applying for UNESCO World Heritage status. We were intrigued and we sent Addie to find out more back in June.
This seaside resort on the Costa Blanca grew from a sleepy fishing village with just 3,000 inhabitants back in the 1960s to a metropolis of high-rise apartments and hotels. tourism is its main industry, and city officials here are banking on this to help propel Benidorm into the realms of UNESCO World Heritage status. Spain already boasts more than 40 heritage sites, ranging from the pilgrimage route of Santiago de Compostela and the Paleolithic rock art-filled caves at Altamira and the historic city of Toledo. So can Benidorm even compare? After all, it's built up a bit of a tarnished reputation and is typically known for its stag and hen parties. Some critics say there's nothing UNESCO about this place.
This is one part of Benidorm, but it's not everything. The good thing of Benidorm is that you have everything in the same place. So if you want to have fiesta and you want to come for fiesta, you have it all year round. If you want to come with family, you have leisure for family, and your family doesn't see these people having fiesta. If you want to go for making sports, you have everything in the same place, and there is one Benidorm for each people that want to come.
Officials want Benidorm to be a destination recognised as one of the only cities in the world that has managed to make sun and sand vacations accessible to all.
Addy sampling the delights of Benidorm back in June. And we'll keep you posted about that UNESCO application. It should be an interesting one. Now, here in Sicily, you may not find high-rise hotels, but what you will find, like it or not, is a whiff of the Cosa Nostra. Some tourists are lured here by Hollywood-inspired ideas of organised crime. But many locals say they've had enough of what they dub mafia tourism, as I discovered back in September.
Sicily is one of Italy's most beautiful islands, known for its popular beaches and ancient ruins. But it's also known for its association with one of the most powerful organised crime syndicates in the world, the Mafia. The organisation is known locally as the Cosa Nostra, or Our Thing, with a history of larceny, blackmail and murder stretching back over 150 years.
Now, this might sound very exciting for outsiders with visions inspired by gangster movies of shootouts and intrigue, but for the people of Sicily, it's an everyday reality.
Today, after decades of crackdowns, many of Sicily's big mob bosses are behind bars. But the organisation still exerts a wide influence on the island, from high-level political corruption to petty extortion rackets. In recent years, Sicilians have made efforts to rebuff the mafia influence, and one sector that's helping to lead the fight is tourism.
We called this tour No Mafia, Palermo No Mafia, because we would like to give you a different perspective, a different idea of what the mafia really is, and a different idea of what Sicily and the Sicilians are doing against the mafia.
This walking tour in Palermo is run by an organisation called Addio Pizzo, translating as Bye Bye Protection Money. The tour only visits shops that have declared they would defy the mafia and not pay the money.
Let's go inside now. Yes.
One such shop is La Coppola Storta, which specialises in creating the traditional coppola flat caps that have become synonymous with the mafiosa.
It is important to explain to the people that coppola is a new symbol. It's not symbol of mafia, it's symbol of New Sicily, and Sicily have many things to offer to the world.
Not just the mafia.
No.
Despite the controversy, it's clear that many in Sicily are prepared to promote the island's mafia associations if it means drawing in more tourists. That's the reality today, but perhaps one day, when tourists think of Sicily, it won't be a romantic idea of the mafia that comes to mind, but instead a story of a brave grassroots movement that fought back against their oppressors and won.
locals trying to create a new image for Sicily back in September on the travel show. Stick with us because coming up we're heading out for a spot of whale watching.
Born free.
And we're in Kenya, 50 years on from the making of a film which changed the face of animal conservation there.
As free as the grass grows.
Now, one of the best things about this job is that we get the chance to meet some of the most extraordinary creatures in the world. Here are some recent favourite animal encounters on the travel show. First up is Henry in New Zealand, proving that getting up close and personal with wildlife isn't always easy.
We're on the tiny island of Rotorua, nestled among a chain of islets off the east coast of New Zealand. It may only total 82 hectares, but don't let its size fool you. Over the last few years, the island has become the site for an ambitious wildlife experiment that will create a whole new ecosystem for endangered species. I've come to Auckland Zoo, who have joined forces with the Rotorua Island Trust to make the project possible. Up to 20 species of endangered animals are planned for translocation to the island, from the magnificent takahe and kiwi birds to forest geckos and tuatara.
I want to introduce you to one of our residents here at Auckland Zoo. Seth here is handling Tupua. He's a tuatara, one of an ancient lineage only remaining in New Zealand, an extraordinary animal.
She looks like she's something straight out of sort of Jurassic Park. She's very beautiful indeed.
Pretty much is. They're in trouble in that you don't find them on the mainland now. And the only place you can find them is in island sanctuaries like Rotorua.
It's very important that we do not take anything on the island that is not already there. Ensure that all of your luggage and bags are free from any insects, rodents, and that your footwear is free of any soil, seeds or grasses.
Once introduced to the island, the endangered animals aren't simply left to their own devices, but are closely monitored by a team of experts.
So we know that they're roaming the whole island. They're only put here, last week, and they're kind of checking out the whole island.
Field Conservation Manager Ian Fraser shows me the radio tracking system being used to trace the tagged pair of takahe birds that were released onto the island last month.
Try going over toward the Coromandel there.
Oh, yeah.
Keep going.
And it stopped.
Yeah,
so it does work.
Thank goodness.
You're not lying to me, Ian. There are takahe on this island.
Yeah,
super strong down there, yeah.
So basically that's the thing. So we know it's down there somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what you're looking for, right? Takahe, big bird. Red beak.
Orange beak.
Can't go wrong.
Sadly, we didn't get to see the takahe hiding deep in the undergrowth, but we did get to see some beautiful pukeko, which looks surprisingly similar. Why is it that you actually need to track the takahe on the island?
So there's only about 270 takahe in the whole world, and there's a pair of them on this island, so they're very precious. We only put them here last week. We want to make sure they're still alive, so every day we check, the transmitter tells us they're still alive, and also we want to find out where they're living on the island, what kind of habitat they want.
To maintain a healthy island ecosystem, Rotorua also needs to attract seabirds as they can bring essential nutrients to the land. As such, the team have installed an artificial gannet colony in the hopes of attracting the real Australasian gannet.
We've got 16 plastic gannets here, and the birds that are flying back from Australia will pass this point. They'll be looking for a new site to breed, and the idea is to draw them in. We usually play a sound, so we have recordings of a different gannet colony. And the idea is to bring young birds that are looking for a nesting site in, and they'll come here and nest here, and we know it's safe, there's no predators, and slowly over time we'll build up a gannet colony right here on the island.
Zimbabwe!
Victoria Falls is known locally as Mosiwatunya, the smoke that thunders, and it's easy to see why. And straddling the border of modern-day Zambia and Zimbabwe, more than 3.5 million people come here every year. The The other main reason people come here is to see the big five: lion, leopard, rhino, buffalo, and elephants. These majestic animals come here every day to drink. We were told to keep quiet because if spooked, they could charge. This is so cool. I'm in a hide, which is pretty close to our hotel, and it's like I'm watching a wildlife soap opera. I've got warthog, elephant, impala, and even a crocodile, all within touching distance. They're just right there. While African elephants are considered endangered, there are an estimated 300,000 in the wild across the whole of southern Africa. But here in Zimbabwe, politicians are claiming they will need to cull elephants because of the growing population. Instead, they plan to export large numbers of elephants abroad, something which has angered wildlife campaign groups concerned at the stress the animals endure when caught and separated from their families.
Oh, right, here I am, Meru National Park. Now, this place is amazing for many reasons, but right up there has to be its most famous four-legged daughter, and that's Elsa the lion.
Born free as the wind blows, as free as the grass grows, born free to follow your heart.
She was the inspiration behind the film Born Free, which hit the big screens almost 50 years ago. The film about the lives of George and Joy Adamson was based on Joy's book, which followed their attempts to rescue the orphan lion cub and train her to live safely in the wild.
You look at a star.
There she is. This is Elsa's last resting spot, very close to the river where George Adamson found her, and the last moments were spent with her before she died. And of course, Joy's ashes were scattered around here as well. It's quite a fitting place. Lovely little oasis under this beautiful tree.
The film of Elsa's life was shot and was a sensation around the globe. It made stars of George and Joy, and the aftermath changed conservation in Africa forever. And the Born Free Foundation, launched by the film's two human stars, Bill Travers and Virginia McKenna, operates around the world. This park is virtually unchanged since George and Joy were here.
Really lucky because I've come across a lioness and her cub. They've just feasted, so this is the moment where they get really lazy. They've nestled just below a lovely tree for some shade. This kind of reminds me of what Elsa would have been doing here in Meru National Park.
Of course, Joy and George needed helpers, and one of those was Johnny Baxendale, George's godson. He helped return the Born Free lions to the wild, but used to come back out to their favourite haunts for regular visits.
You never felt in danger at all?
Never.
No?
They were relaxed, there was no tension, there was no issues. We knew very well that, you know, they would walk up to us and greet us in the most amazing way.
So with the 50th anniversary of the film coming up, and all the publicity it sort of gets, it's going to have a surge in tourism for the area. Do you think that's a good thing?
I think that's an incredible thing. And anything to first of all try and revive the legacy and legend of the Adamsons and Born Free. And I think the anniversary is a wonderful way to relive this and get people out here to come and see for themselves where it happened and what happened. And this is the Born Free country. This is where it all happened. This is where Elsa was found, and this is where Elsa died.
It's really
early. It's like just before 4, but I'm told this will be worth it.
Fishing is the lifeblood of the people here in Jinpu. Their fortunes are tied to the sea, and today we're hoping to catch a glimpse of something rather special.
So we're actually on a whale watching boat, but our guide says we're unlikely to see some whales, but we'll probably see some dolphins and a spectacular sunrise.
This part of the world lies on the Tropic of Cancer, the imaginary ring which circumnavigates the world and denotes the line of latitude where the sun shines highest in the sky for the longest during the day. And hundreds of thousands of people come to Taiwan every year to take part in events that mark the summer solstice in June. And at around 5:30 in the morning, I get to see why.
So we've been watching the sky change from a pale pink in the very early morning, and it's gradually getting brighter and brighter and more orange. And now we've got this blaze of sun here, which is making such a spectacular view. There's almost like a different shade of orange every minute.
But fairly soon after the sunrise, we get our first glimpse of what we've really come to see, killer whales. Whales are a protected species here in Taiwan, and to see them this close is truly breathtaking, and a special reward for me and all the hard-working volunteers.
It's so exciting to be surrounded by a family of killer whales. Apparently it's the first sighting of the season, but they're really difficult to film because as soon as they come up, they're gone again.
That's all we've got time for this week. Thank you for joining us on our travels over the past few months. Next week, we're off on new adventures when...
It is actually the perfect time to go on moose watch.
I head to Canada in search of one of the country's shyest and most iconic creatures on a moose safari.
So do join us then if you can. But for now, from me, Crystal Larwood, and the rest of the Travel Show team here in Sicily, it's goodbye.